Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today I've got something a little bit different for you. About a month ago I received a request from Nick B. He said could I do a GT Sport video on my top 5 favourite drift tracks. I thought it was a great idea and probably one of the best suggestions I've actually had so far. It's not something I thought about doing, so I really appreciate your input. And as always, keep your suggestions coming in. It definitely keeps me busy. Certainly at the moment, I'm struggling to keep up with them all. But it's great to hear from you all. And, you know, like this one, it's taken me a month to get there. But at the same time, I'll always try and do whatever I can wherever possible. These top 5 videos are always fun to put together. They do take a lot of time though, but equally they're always a little bit difficult because not everyone's always going to agree on something. At the end of the day, I use certain tracks. I'm sure lots of you guys use different ones, but it is just a personal preference. I certainly don't only use these 5 tracks, but I do find myself using them more frequently than anything else when I'm actually setting the cars up before I put them out to you guys so you can use them. Since we've been receiving the monthly updates, including tracks more lately, there has been some fantastic tracks added to the game itself. Certainly if you've been playing GT6 previously, you won't need to be told just how good Barcelona is as a drifting track. But none of those have actually made it in to my list, mainly I think because I've been playing the game since release. I've got so used to using the same tracks when I'm trying to set cars up that I just end up going back to them every single time. But what I'm really trying to say is, you know, don't take my top 5 as the only tracks you should be using to drift in the game. Try them all, mess around with them. There's some fantastic bits out there that certainly didn't make it into my list, but I love experimenting with it all. I mix it up all the time and, you know, just have some fun with it. So what I've done for you today is recorded myself going around each of the 5 tracks. We'll take them one by one. I will do a little bit of talking over each one as well, just to sort of explain to you which corners I like to work with, certainly when I'm putting together a drift setup before I send it out to you guys. And there's a few corners that I find really helpful within the game to get the settings just how I like them. The other thing I need to mention is the fact that none of these tracks are in any specific order. I like all 5 equally, to be honest with you. They all have their own sections that I think are, you know, really usable and very good. But that's enough of an introduction. I'll take you over to the tracks now where I'll explain each one a little bit further. So first up we've got Suzuka. I'd say it's probably the most obvious one here on the list. You can't go into a drift lobby without finding this top of the table. And there is good reason for this. If you pick the East course, which is what I'm currently showing you now, it has got some of the nicest sweeping corners that you'll find anywhere in the game. This is always my first stop whenever I'm coming up with a drift build, and this first corner is the one that, you know, really challenges you. If you can get around this comfortably, you know that you'll be absolutely fine for the rest of the lap. So what I always do is just get everything set up, try that first corner over and over again until I feel like I can get it every single time, and then I'll continue on and make sure the rest of the build's good. Like I said, the rest of these corners are just made for drifting. It is absolutely perfect. And with any car and any build that I ever seem to set up, all you ever have to do is just pick a gear that's comfortable to get around it, and you don't even need to change. You just keep going and going and going until you hit that final corner. That's where you have to change gear, maybe drop it down a little bit. It is a little bit tighter, but certainly you'll be changing up a gear again before the end of the corner to bring you out onto the straight. I love Suzuka, and it deserves all the love it gets from the community as well. So if you are going online, I may well see you on a Suzuka drift lobby somewhere soon. Next up, it's Brands Hatch, and specifically it's the short course, which is what I'm going to be showing you today. As soon as you load up a time trial like I am here, you're met with the first corner, which is actually the last corner on the course, but this is one of the most rewarding drifting corners in the game in my opinion. Starts off with a cheeky left and then you have to whip it right, but you do have to slow down a lot onto the apex of the corner or you will overshoot it. But the key to this one is to keep laying down the power after that apex. You want to keep changing up the gears. With this one I'm up to gear 5 there to bring it out onto the straight, but it's, like I say, such a rewarding corner. Straight after that you've got a very fast right hander, and with this you're actually going downhill as well, so it's very easy to overshoot, so you do need to watch your speed as you're coming down here. And then it's up the hill here to a very tight hairpin at the top. What I love about this hairpin, certainly from making videos point of view, some of the camera angles that the game actually gives you when you're going around this look so smart, especially at the beginning of your vids. So I tend to use the track a great deal just for that one corner. And then it's just a little left-hander to finish. I think what I love about this course so much is the variety. You've got your fast corners, you've got slow corners, there's some real technical ones. it's a challenge. I like it. I'm used to it. I use it a lot, and I think you guys should too. So have some fun with it. Next up, it's Dragon Trail. It's another community favourite with the GT Sport crowd, not just for drifting, for racing as well. A lot of people seem to think this is one of the best courses in the game. I'm going to be showing you the Dragon Trail's Gardens course, but either of the Dragon Trail courses are absolutely fine. In fact, they're both fantastic for drifting. When you first come out on a time trial, like I'm showing you now, you're met with that first corner, which is actually a double apex. It's a really easy one to get round, as long as you don't over-rotate the car. They do have a tendency to slide back into the wall if you do that. But you keep it at a good angle, you'll get around there, no troubles with any car really, to be honest with you. After the straight, you're met with this beast, which can be quite difficult to judge, to be honest. I tend to find the first time I come around here with a new car, each time I tend to go off or I come up short or whatever else. But practice makes perfect, and you'll be there in no time. Now it's a short technical S-bend. You definitely want to be in second gear for this. It can be a little bit troublesome sometimes with the fact that there is an incline on here as well. You can lose control quite easily, so just take it easy. Now you just got a long straight section before this course starts to get really interesting. When we get to the end of this straight, there is going to be a very tight hairpin turn, so you do need to watch your speed on the way down this hill and anticipate your braking quite well. In most cases, you definitely want to be taking this corner in second gear. It is one of these ones where you're going to lose your momentum. You're almost going in backwards eventually. So you just got to keep on the power, but do it gently on the way out or you will tend to spin out. And now this section coming up is what I would class as the best bit of Dragon Trail Gardens. There is a lovely multi-linking section with all the corners here. Certainly the last four before you come up to that original point that you started at. You can actually link those together with one drift. I do manage to do it here for you so that you can see it in action. It is very ugly just before that corner though. I do think I come off from memory. But overall this course is fantastic. There's a lot here to challenge you. There's also a lot here from my point of view when I'm making the videos that I like to play around with. There's good reverse entry corners. It's just a real challenge and I love it. So if you haven't tried it yet, or if you don't use it very much, get out there and give it a go. Next up, it's Kyoto Driving Park. Now again, with this course there is multiple options of different layouts that you can go for. For this video I have just gone for the short one, however the long one is full of beautiful corners for drifting in. It's just that if I used all the long courses on here, we'd be here all day. There is one corner, however, on this short course that I really wanted to talk to you about, and that's the long one at the end of the straight. The corner itself is hugely long, and as you're taking it, it gives you a really good feeling of how the car's handling. I use it on nearly every single drift setup video. I'm sure you've seen it, but if you are ever doing your own drift setups and things like that, I suggest you come out and try the corner. It gives you a great idea, because you're hanging it sideways for so long. You get a great idea of just how wide the sweet spot is, how easy to control it is, and you know, once you've mastered that and your gearing and everything else like that, then nothing's going to stop you. It's a great corner to test your cars on. And last but by no means least, I've picked Suzuka. Suzuka, just like Brands Hatch, is definitely on my list because it's quite a technical course and it definitely challenges me. But equally, when I'm putting a build together, I find it really useful because it is testing the vehicles to quite a high level. You've obviously got the first corner there off the straight, which is nice and fast, but then instantly you come up to this little hairpin here. You've got to take this one in second gear. It's very slow. Again, you're going to test whether the car's going to spin out or not at all. But this bit coming up here is probably the most interesting section of the course. You've got a little S-bend here, so you swing a left, you take a right, but then you've got to come straight off the power, drop your gears while still turning, and try and catch the skid, which it's one of the only parts of the game that I've found that tests you like that, and it's really worth having a go if you haven't, to see sort of what you can do with it. After that, you're given a cheeky little right, and then you can really open the power up and see what the car can do around this big left-hand turn. And then finally, it's yet another low-speed hairpin just to test what you can do, and you're back onto the straight again. And that's it for my top 5. I know and I understand everyone's not going to necessarily like the same tracks, but I would like to hear what your thoughts are, and use the comment section to let me know your top 5. As always, if this is the first time you visited the channel, please make sure to subscribe. I've got new content going up all the time, and drop me a like. It really makes me happy when you do, and I'll see you on the next one.